senior project was to create an actual magazine. Now, maybe I was just lazy in college, but that seems like a pretty ambitious senior project.
Yeah. Well, so the projects, so everyone's thesis could be anything. Um, and initially I was gonna do a fashion project. I wanted to do like a line of t-shirts and clothes that had like social justice themes tied to them,
Mm.
because I think that's what I cared a lot about at the time. And during that same time period, I had also interned at different men's fashion magazines, Essential Oil magazine, also Esquire magazine. And I think for me, it was because of a friend who reached out to me about her own thesis project. They were like, "Oh, I want to create a zine illustrating different like women in who are buff, and like more like mask folks." And I was like, "Oh, I could maybe do a spread that breaks down like the elements of a suit, so to educate folks on like what suiting could be and like learn about suiting in general." Um, but then for me, once I thought about that, I was like, wait, I could actually just make a full magazine about
Mm.
this.
Yeah.
Like, growing up, I've always been into more masculine attire, and would always be rummaging through my dad's closet. But it's hard to find like like learning how to fit yourself, learning about different elements of a suit, of like the different collared shirts, how pants should hit. Like I think all of those things are learned experiences, and I feel like
Mhm.
when you're a cis man and you have like a father figure, or you're constantly navigating and going through these like gender affirmative processes and rituals where you like learn how to be a man, but like
Mm.
when you aren't that and you are and have to like figure it out yourself but don't have the resources, I realized like, let me make that resource. Let me
Mm.
take the time to build this magazine that I would have wanted to read as a kid. Because all of the magazines I had growing up, were like J14 or M magazine, that were like pop culture for teens but still was very gendered, or like reading GQ or Esquire, even though it offered that information for me, it would still like sexualize women, or you know not really be catered to me. So I decided like, let me do this. Let me make this for myself, and also for all the folks out, or for all the young kids out there who want to learn about these things themselves, and also learn about queerness and gender identity and all of the good things that are in that.
What was the response you got from that?
Oh, it was great. And also, I feel like I was also able to collaborate with a lot of my peers too at school. I
Mm.
think like being in school and you're surrounded by like photographers, illustrators, other designers, it was so great to reach out to folks and be like, hey, like I'm working on this thing. Would you be down to participate? And I feel like a lot of people were like, wow, this is great. Yeah, let's do it. So then we were able to like have illustration, and like my friends like photograph for me. I had friends model for me. And then when I finally printed the piece, it was like so many of my friends were like, oh my gosh, I want a copy. Like this is so great. And then I eventually mailed them out to different like design directors and creative directors like across the industry. And that was
Wow.
great. I feel like that's what got me my foot in the door. I had like design directors emailing me to come get coffee with them. And I think a big part of it was like that they saw the passion within the magazine too. Like it
Mhm.
wasn't just like, okay, this is my assignment, let me just churn out something. They were like, oh, like you care a lot about not just design but also the service element. And I feel like that, like my current boss, David Matt, one of the things that he is constantly like iterating to me is like, you can be a good designer and a good creative, but you should also be thinking about the editorial as well. Like, what are you trying to actually say? Like you're not just trying to make something look pretty. You're sort of trying to like have it serve people. Like, what are they learning from this at the end of the day?
Yeah,
Mm.
that's great. I just learned the word suiting from talking to you. I've never heard that term before, but it's like, um, you know, like you said, when something like cisgender is just seen as the default, then people just don't think about those things. For me, a suit was a suit, and you just change it
Mhm.
based on your height or your
Mhm.
weight. But
Mhm.
a suit is just it's different things to different people, and so it's great that you're putting content out there that educates not only the people who want to wear suits in different ways, but also the people who, like me, who just think a suit is a suit, like, yeah, we should open our eyes to things like that. So that's wonderful. I also
Yeah.
love that you made this personal project. You saw something that just didn't exist in the world,
Mhm.
and you filled that gap. And that's such a great lesson for a college student who wants to advance in a certain career field. Like, find something that you wish existed, make it, and show people that you can do that kind of work. Because didn't that lead to you getting to Fast Company shortly after college?
Yeah. So like I after like meeting different design directors, I think at Fast Company, I had applied for a job under the production director. But then when she reached out to the design director and the creative director to like look at my work, the creative director was like, "Oh, I've seen this before." And it was because of a professor at my school who had sent him my work. And I think that like that is what later on, what got me the job. And then while I was at Fast Company, they also like had me work on design stuff, and I was later then promoted to designer. And the book itself like opened up so many doors for me. And I feel like it's like even now, like it still is one of my favorite pieces I've ever done. And I still share it with folks.
One of the things I'm just really hearing about your story and I'm admiring is your bravery. Like, even when you talked about you as a kid, like, as a kid, I saw there was a problem here. Yeah, like, and I just came in. I wasn't worried about what the teacher was thinking. Matter of fact, I'm so bold, I put it on everybody's desk.
Yeah. It's like,
And then in college, like, hey, no one's talking to me. Everybody's talking to everybody else, but no one's talking to me. What advice would you give to somebody who may be afraid, that's saying, you know what, I have this voice and I feel like no one's talking to me, but I'm scared about what people are going to think about this, so I hold myself back. What advice would you give to them to say, you know what, break through this fear, let's go to the next level?
I mean, I think a part of it could be like to start small, or to like try to find community that you could connect with. I like the internet is such a beautiful place because, if you go on like Facebook groups or like go on Instagram, and you can reach out to literally anybody. If you have this interest in the thing, you can reach out to someone who, is like-minded and be like, "Hey, like, would you like to collaborate on this thing? Or do you want to talk about this thing?" Or even, when the two of you reached out to me about this podcast, like, I think if you start by finding your tribe, like finding community and building community and learning more about it, you'll feel more confident about it, right? Like, I think, like, for me, when I was in high school, in middle school, I didn't have community because no one else was queer, no one else was coming out. But in high school, there was a GSA, and really meeting folks who were also queer and questioning, or when you're in high school, you're super awkward, you don't know what to do. But then when you surround yourself with people, you learn more, you feel more confident in general. And I think the first step is to learn, to grow, to meet people. Yeah.